Whenever you have to differentiate a fraction, not all fractions, most fractions, then the derivative is u dash v minus uv dash. Notice it's very similar to the product rule where it's a plus. That's why I prefer to start with uv. Because if you write it in a different way, that would have been wrong. If I write uv dash minus u dash v, that's wrong. Because the minus has to be before the uv dash, not before the u dash v. That's why I always ask you to write the product rule as u dash v first, then uv dash. Because when it comes to quotient rule, you just have to change the minus plus to a minus. Does that make sense? Okay, now that's also on the reference sheet, by the way. So let's highlight this. It's on the reference sheet. It's a fraction. Just like before, you got y equal to u times v. You get u over v as a fraction. Fraction, right? Before you times, now you divide. Quotient rule. Divide. Yeah. Y u over v. Yeah. That's the y dash. That's y dash. That's differentiating this. Okay. Now on the reference sheet, this is what you get. Here, looks like this. That's the reference sheet. Yep. They have a dv, du over dx instead of, yeah. That u dash, right? Which is confusing. So it's better off using y right here. U dash v minus uv dash. All right, let's use this rule. So when you want to differentiate this, what you do is the numerator is u. The denominator is v. All right, write it down. Okay, thank you. All right, u dash. Lisa, what's u dash? 3, good. Excellent. And Kira, what's v dash? 4. Okay, let's do the quotient rule. Cross multiply. So you go y dash equal u dash v minus uv dash. Remember, it's a minus for quotient. Okay, now let's substitute stuff in. So you get 3 times v minus u v dash over v squared. That. And what should we do next? Expand the numerator. Do not expand the denominator. Just leave it like it is. Leave it as square. You don't need to expand the denominator. So just leave it as square, but the top you have to expand and collect like terms. 12x minus 15 minus 12x minus 4. And the answer will be negative 19 over this. Got it? It's pretty easy, isn't it? Can you try the next one? I've just differentiated. That's y dash. That is y dash. That's derivative. That's the original. That's y dash. Does that make sense? That's the derivative. The bottom. No. That's the formula. You square the denominator and do this. You just leave it at the bottom. That is differentiating. Y dash. Yes, that's the look. Y dash. Maybe you don't like y dash. Let's write dy over dx. That is. Yeah, that's derivative. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Try the next one. Can you try the next one? And write down what u is. Write down what v is. U must be the numerator. V must be the denominator. Have a try. All right, have a try. I think you can finish very easily. Quotient rule. And then we've got some challenge question on the next page. 2 pages to that. Yes. Or we could actually increase to 4 if we want.
Yeah, I think there is something else.
Alright, okay. I thought you know already. Alright, okay, let's move on. Okay. Alright, okay. Alright, we finished this. Alright, looks like people are finishing. That's very good. Let's do the question rule. U dash. It's actually quite fun when you do this calculus stuff. It's just like, it's very fun. You will like calculus. Okay, alright. It's a 2x, 4x plus 3 minus u v dash u over what's v squared, v squared. Okay, good. Let's keep going. Yeah, it's a v squared. Yeah, just be careful. It's not v dash squared. Okay. What do you get? You get 8x squared plus 6x minus 4x squared plus 4. Be careful. Plus 4. And any like terms? What do you get? You get 4x squared plus 6x. Now, when you talk about fast, I want to say something. Hang on. All right. Now, reading. Okay, let's move on. No, not 4. Okay. Yeah. I know. All right. Okay. Did you all get that? Did you get that? All right. Good. See, it's easy. All right. All right. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to do some hard questions. No. This is not hard. When you see this, hopefully you still okay.
What is this challenge there?
Challenge. Yep.
Um.
Could be in the could be in the exam. So make sure you do it, Mr. Freeman. Challenge. Okay. So this one, what rule do you use? Question rule, right? It's a fraction. What rule do you use for the second one? Product rule. Yep. Let's use the quotient rule. That's your u. That's your v. Okay. So let's write down u equal this, v equal to this. Now, how do you differentiate square root? What do you have to do first? Make it a half. Very good. And then do u dash, v dash. Okay, go. So what do you get? So you get half x plus 1 to the power of what? Very good. Now also write down the without negative indices. So how do you write it without negative index? 1 over sum. Yep. To the power half. What's power half mean? Yep. So this is the half part. No. Turning it back to square root form. Okay. Alright, you got it? And then we use the quotient rule. I'll have a try. Like u dash, remember uv, except minus in the middle. So you write y dash equal to u dash v minus uv dash over v squared. Alright, what's u dash? U dash is, what's u dash? Is this big thing times v, which is x, minus u, which is, what's u? U is this square root thing, x plus 1 times by v dash, which is 1, over the square of the denominator. Now the hard part is to learn how to simplify that. Up times 1. Remember, that's uv dash. Alright, that's v dash v. Okay, let's continue. So what would you do next? You write that as x over 2 root this minus this. Now, whenever there's a fraction on the numerator, you have to get rid of it. How do I get rid of the fraction in the numerator? You times it by the denominator. So what's the denominator? 2 root x plus 1 times top and bottom by the same thing. It's like simplifying. So you expand. Yeah. Remember, it's a challenge question, but it's actually not as challenging. All right. 2 root x plus 1 minus 2 root x plus 1. So can you see I'm expanded the top? The bottom, you just leave it as 2x squared root x plus 1. Just write that first. Hopefully you have enough space, but I gave you plenty of room. Times top and bottom by the same thing, right? Okay, so what do? You can cancel. Cancel. See, I got rid of the fraction. 2 root x plus 1, because there's a 2 at the bottom. That's why I times by the whole thing, to get rid of the fraction. Okay, how about the second bit? What do they times become? Just x plus 1, the square root get cancelled, so you get x minus 2 bracket x plus 1. Note the use of the bracket. The denominator stay the same. And then you just have to expand the top and collect like terms. So what do? You get x minus 2x minus 2. And that will become this. Alright, done. So it's challenging because the simplifying takes long. Yeah, minus x minus 2. Because x minus 2x is negative x. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Alright, good. So can you try the next one? Product rule. Alright, have a think, have a look at it, see how I do things. So I use the quotient rule first. That's the easy part. And the next part is get rid of the denominator. That's the hard part. You have to times top and bottom by the same thing. That will get rid of the denominator. And then expand, collect like terms, gives you the final answer. Yeah, so you expand. It times by this. It's like doing this sort of question. Say you got 1/3 plus 1 over 2. Right? How would you do that? You times this by 3 times by 3. So you get 1 plus 3. So you get 4 over 3, 4 over 6. Right? Yeah. So it's the same concept. Oh, now you know. Alright. I get you started. Okay, you started right away. So next one, this is part of right. U is x.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? Okay. I think the first step you have no problem. Can you try the first step? Differentiate UV. Okay? Go. Go. Right. UV. UV. Yeah, and in alphabetical order, U comes before V, right? Yeah, that's another way to remember. Alphabetical order. Yeah, UV. U dash, U to the 1. Forgot your way already. Yeah, but would it work for the quotient rule? Because you have to go u dash v. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, half, and then do v dash equal to half. Okay, write it like this. All right, and then do cross multiply. Have a try. The root, yeah. I just make the first one u, the second one v. But it doesn't really matter which one you make the first. You get the same thing. No, it's not quotient, it's a product rule. Times. X times root x. Get it? It's a product rule. Sorry, yeah. Can you see that's a product rule? It's times. X times root x plus 3. We just don't write the times. Say again? Maybe. No. Okay, alright, let's do that. No. Of course.
So you should understand that we need to
Alright. Okay. U dash 1 dash, what's v? V is v. What's v? V is this. U. Alright. So hopefully you get this now. X over this. Quotient product rule. Yeah, product rule. Got it? And what do you do next?
Wait, so I don't know what's happening.
Because you started talking. Okay. Alright, product rule, right? U dash V. U. Product rule.
So why do you leave it in the group x plus 3? Why don't you change it to x plus 3?
So yeah, you change to half, and so you can differentiate. Because you need to be in square root form, not. No, it has to do it this way. Yeah, this one just, yeah, you have to write it in square form. Alright, case is product rule. And what do you do next? You have to make a common denominator. How do you make a common denominator? Put a 1 there, and what do you do? Times top and bottom by? No, this. Right? Top and bottom, yeah. Make a common denominator. How come it doesn't show? I just realized something. It doesn't show everything. It doesn't. Oh my God. Let's continue. Okay, so we're going to. Alright, so make a common denominator. So what do? Times them together, the square root get cancelled. Plus x over the same denominator. Yeah. So the square root of x plus 3 and the square root of x plus 3 cancel to become x plus 3. Which you get expand, so you get 2x plus 6 plus x. And collecting like terms gives you this. It's a little bit shorter. Done. Alright, so today you do exercise 8.10, I think. Is that 8.10 today? Alright, start now.